My name is Don Morgan. This is a slide presentation on a Kayak Storage Rack. It's a freestanding rack that I built in June of 2015. In September of 2014, we purchased two of these Hurricane Santee 126 kayaks. And they sat on the floor in the breezeway here during the winter of 2014 to 2015. This is one view of the Kayak Storage Rack, looking at it from the one side. And here's another view of the Kayak Storage Rack looking at it from the opposite side. The base of the Kayak Storage Rack has two 4x4s that are about 34 inches long. The two base 4x4 pieces are notched to hold the upright 2x4s. The two vertical 2x4s are 52 inches long, and they're bolted to the 4x4 base pieces, and they're bolted in place by two lag bolts for each board. And the lag bolts are 3/8 inch lag bolts by about 3 to 3.5 inches long. For holding the top kayak in place on the rack, there are two 2x4s that are mounted at an angle of about 30 degrees off of the verticals. These 2x4s, or standouts, are mounted up on the verticals about 24 inches from the bottom base. The standouts are bolted to the verticals using two 3/8 inch by 4 inch bolts, and there's flat washers and nuts that hold the bolts in place. Originally, the standouts were cut for 30 inches long. However, after putting the kayaks up on the standouts, it was found that the standouts could be cut shorter. So now the standouts are 25 inches long. There's a base board. It's a 1x6 by 70 inches long. It's held to the two 4x4s with countersunk holes and lag bolts. The cushions are just made up of cut up old swimming pool noodles. The vertical cushions and the cushions on the standouts are just pressed into place. The two cushions that are mounted on the base pieces are screwed into place with screws and washers. This is what the rack looks like with the kayaks mounted on top of the rack. You can see the bottom kayak is sitting on the bottom base, and the top kayak is sitting on the standouts. Works out pretty good. It gets the kayaks out of the way, and it serves a useful purpose. All of the lumber that went into making this rack was already here. I already had it in place at home. The noodles I already had in place. They were actually noodles that were used on the pool for a few years. The lag bolts that were mounting the base in place, they were already on hand. About the only thing that I had to go out and buy was the carriage bolts and the nuts and the washers for the standout pieces. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment below. If you wish to see any other information about our kayak adventures, you can check us out at King's Rule Production at ab3bo.com.